Okay, we're at part 2. So this one will probably be just as long as the last one, so stick with it. Hopefully there's some good information for you. There's some new stuff. Okay, so if you look, I've got a stack of 3 bowls here. These are bigger bowls than your average soup bowl, your average ice cream bowl. So I've got a bowl here, I've got a bowl here, I've got a bowl here. If you look, the height is different, the diameter is different. See how this one is smaller? This one is smaller here by a whole lot. There's lots of room here, and this one is smaller. So again, if you've got 8 bowls and you want to do this as a gift, then this is where you take the time to really make these work. Totally up to you. You don't have to. You can get away with using a bowl that doesn't quite fit. Let's see. You know, this doesn't fit. I have another one that really kind of is almost as good as this. So anyway, it's at home. You've seen it in the other video. So you can see how this fits. This works just fine. You're going to pick up here, stick it in the microwave, or when you're sitting on your couch in front of the TV with the fire going, and this is nice and hot, you're not going to burn your legs. This one works. This one works just fine too. You can see how that works. And this one works just fine too. This one is really snug. Do you see how I made this one to go with this? I don't know if you can see, there's not a whole lot of gap in here. This is where customizing really allows you to do that. Can you see how this is a little more wobbly? So when we go to take those stitches, again, when I place that bowl inside, I've got this here, and here's a bowl. You can see this is too big. That's when I'm deciding how much. And again, we're going to take a stitch, and if we have to rip this out because we've made it too small, it's okay. It's no big deal. Even make a sample out of some junky fabric. Doesn't even have to be 100% cotton batting and cotton fabric for what you're doing, but test this out here. What I don't want to have is where this is much smaller or it's so big that it's overlapping. So make sure that it kind of fits your bowl too. Okay, so this guy here. Now, I want to show you something new that I have. If you look inside, there's circle stitching. Some of you have already done this. Some of you have seen other methods out there on the web that allow you to do that. So I have circle templates. The circle templates that I had, I've added more sizes. I need my glasses so I can see. Here's a 3.5, there's a 4, there's a 4.5, there's a 5, there's a 5.5, there's a 6. I also have an 8 and a 10 and a 12, so there's different sizes. What you want to think about is, this is the one that kind of fits here. Do you see this base that's here? I want to look to see which one fits pretty well. See how that fits pretty well with that? And that's the size. I went one up. Can you see that? I went with the 5.5 because that's the only one that I had at home. Okay, so this is where you need a chalk pencil or a water soluble or air soluble pen. I used one of these at home, and man, it took forever to get out, and I was blue, my towels were blue, my mat would have been blue if I'd done it on there. So chalk pencil I think would really be better, but what you can do is just draw a line around this. Now you don't have to use one of my templates, but what does the template do? It grabs. So when you go to get that line there, you get exactly. What I want you to do though is look inside. I want the distance from here, where the end of the dart is, to be the same as the end of the dart here. I don't know if you can see, but I have, let's see, yeah, I can't really tell. There, yep, it's pretty even. What I don't want to do is have my circle more cockeyed, you know, more this way or more that way. So you can do that in a couple different ways. You can fold in half and see. You can fold in half and see, but you also already have your diagonals that are there. That should be in the center. When I did this morning to get ready for the video, I didn't actually have my Get a Grip template at home, so I used a paper template, and I didn't get it exactly in the center. Again, if you decide to do this, what it gives you is a little bit more stability. So this is totally optional. I'll have the circles in a bunch of different combinations on my website, and so you can buy them for other things too. The circles are just great for all kinds of stuff. They're mug rugs, and they're hot pads, and oven mitts, and all kinds of other cool things. If you've seen that double-handed, imagine I'm like this, a double-handed oven mitt, the circle that's on the edge, you're taking the 8-inch and basically cutting to here. So it gives you a perfect circle. So there's a ton of things you can do on there. Okay, so this guy here fits perfectly here. So you're going to take your bowl and make this kind of custom. Once you know what your measurements are, you know, we're starting out before I do the cutting. You know, when we're doing this and I go to stitch, if I moved it over or I've moved it in, With this, I'm going to move it in. I'll show you that in just a second. So you want to take a note of that. So if you stop for the day and you go to it 2 weeks later on, you want to remember what it is that you did. So what I want to do is grab, let's see, something flat here, okay? Do you see this right here? This is almost just a little bit too small, but it works just fine. So we're in front of the TV, again, with this being a hot plate that's got hot whatever on it, and I don't want my fingers burning. So I have a very small dart that's here. You can see it's not really raised up that much. So how do we do the small dart? Okay, I've got too small of a piece here, but we're good enough. So we're going to pretend that this is larger. So when we go to fold this, and we're looking at those holes, our dots here and the dot here, and I'm looking for that dot here, when I go to stitch, the first stitch I'm going to do is, again, with that 6-inch hemming ruler, go in and measure. I'm going to look at maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, and we're going to go in, and you can do a dot, and you can do a dot, and decide if you want to use that last dot, and we basically stitch down like this. So imagine that I've got that 6-inch hemming ruler, and I'll take my template, and we're going to draw ourselves a new line. And I'm taking the water soluble here, but do you see? Nope, you really can't see because I can barely see. So we're basically drawing a new, whoo, I'm throwing stuff here. So we're basically going in and we're drawing another line. And boy, it's hard to see. It's kind of a mess, but you get the idea. It's grabbing that water soluble stuff. So that would be my stitch line. And then I would do the same thing over here, and then I would go test it and see how that works. And I think I've got one here that I can show you. All right, so we'll take a look at this. You can see I have very little dart here. That's where the holes were. You can see I took very, very little. Let me get these bowls out of the way so we're not clinking around making noises. So this is a plate warmer now that we're looking at. So this guy here, there's a little bit of a curve. This has more of a curve. Can you see that? But when I get to these plate warmers, boy, there's hardly anything there, and you can see how much bigger this one is there, okay? So you're deciding how much of a curve you want. So let me pull over some of my plate options for you and show you. Okay, so I've got a bigger plate. This guy here may or may not fit in your microwave, but this is made to be a serving tray, a trivet. So when you've got this on your dining room table, you're not going to pick it up like this and give it to somebody. You're going to say, you want some more? And you pass this around because this is a trivet. So there's not a whole lot of curve there. And again, you can decide, do I want to take this diameter and stitch that around? Totally up to you. It gives you a little bit more stability. So that's a big plate warmer. I'm going to grab a few more. I just dropped something. Oh, the remote. Okay, we're okay there. Let's take the smallest one. Whoops. Okay, can you see how teeny tiny this one is? Some of you that are on diets, these dinner plates versus the smaller salad plates, they're really great for that too. So you can see this is a smaller template that I've chosen. And again, not much of a dart that's here. All right, so we're going to be making that dart option a little bit different than the bigger one for our big plates, but just a little bit. You can see not a whole lot there. Now, here's a typical dining room, dinner table plate, okay? You can see this is the 12-inch right here. When we go to stitch that, our seam allowance is going to be here. Our seam allowance is going to be here, and we're going to get not a whole lot. So you may want to, if you're doing dinner plates that are the typical size, go to the 12.5. I said I would tell you on the video earlier whether you want to do the 12-inch or the 12.5-inch if you're interested in doing dinner plates. Do you see this guy here? This one is fine for a 12-inch, but this is smaller than this. You have bigger plates, you have a smaller plate. So we're not talking about this size. See how teeny tiny that is versus this? Well, then you can do the 12, you can do the 10.5, you can do the 10 on this one. So totally up to you. But when you get bigger plates, that's when that 12.5 will make a difference. If you're doing a bigger bowl and you want to have a nice steep curve, that 12.5 will make a difference. When you're out shopping around and you see plates, realize they've got some fun plates that you can do too. Look at this. Let me see if I can grab one that might be the closer size for this. When you do something like this, if you think about, that doesn't have any darts. Let's grab, I think this one's a little bit too small. Of course, I can't find what I want, but when we start doing our darts, imagine doing a bigger dart that's right here. So here we go. Well, this is just as big. So anyway, you get the idea. You can customize this. We're not making a heart, but we're basically making one that will hold this a little bit better. So imagine doing something for a special occasion. Okay, so you got the larger ones that you can do. So larger, let's get that out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so let's talk about some other options. So you guys have seen this before. This has Insulbrite. Insulbrite, I don't know if you can hear, it's got kind of that staticky because it's a metallic inside of there. This is a bowl by itself. This is not microwave safe. This will not go in the microwave, not safely. And this isn't the right size. Here we go. This one's the right size there. So this you don't need. I can put tools in here. I can put bobbins. I can put thread. I can put all those things in here because the Insulbrite bounces back. If you think about this one, I need a bowl here because this cotton batting doesn't have enough. This is Timtex. Timtex Peltex. And this was the iron-on, and you can see how ugly that is. So I recommend not doing the iron-on because when you go to throw this in the washer and dryer, this is not going to be microwave safe because of the Timtex Peltex, first of all. But when you go to throw this in the washer and dryer and you go to press it, you're going to get inconsistency. So grab a Timtex or Peltex that doesn't have the iron on. But do you see how I don't need this? This works all by itself. So those of you that lose your keys, your glasses, whatever it is, you, your husband, your kids, whatever, take one of these, make one of these and stick it right by the door so they have it when they're on the way in and on the way out. Okay, so you got those. I want to show you one more thing too, since I'm moving stuff around. Do you see how this, although it doesn't match, this bowl is basically like this bowl. But you can see how much bigger this is on the bottom. They're not the same height, but I did the same strategy, the same approach as you would do here. So much higher curve. So you've got all kinds of options for your bowls. Okay, so if you watched my video that I did for my Christmas giveaway, I showed you the potato warmer and the corn on the cob and all of that stuff. So I'm going to show you the same thing so you don't have to go back and watch that video. Basically what we're doing is we're doing a top cotton, a bottom cotton, and a cotton batting. Again, 100% cotton batting. You can do with no darts. You can stitch this closed. And this right here is great to put in between pots and pans. This is great as a trivet. If I were going to use it as a trivet, then I would go ahead and add a couple layers in here. And I might even use Insulbrite. That Insulbrite, that's that silver material to protect your table. So if you just have one layer of cotton batting, I can't promise you your table is going to be fine. But we're talking potato warmer, corn on the cob, tortilla warmer, those kinds of things. So we would stitch this closed, and then we can top stitch. But what I want you to do instead is do two of these. We would add the two stacked on top, line up your edges, and then top stitch. And I talked about before, when you top stitch, leave yourself an opening so you can put the baked potatoes, the corn on the cob, the tortillas. The tortillas, we're not talking about the big tortillas. They won't fit inside of here, but the smaller ones, think about the diameter. And you can do 10, 10 and a half, 12, 12 and a half, doesn't matter what size. But when you go to put the tortilla in there, we're going to pretend that this is the tortilla. You're going to do like this and stick it in here like this, and when it's inside, just kind of unfurl that so it goes flat inside of there. I've been told that the tortillas are nice and soft and they don't get all crispy and yucky when you're, eating and you want another one 20 minutes later or 10 minutes later. So try that. So all of that stuff. If you're doing big things, baked potatoes, those kinds of things, then you can add a dart. Basically, we have this right here, and again, we're going to pretend that that's closed here. And because it's a finished edge, we fold in half and do a teeny tiny dart. You don't need a big dart. There's not much there. A dart, fold in half again, and do a dart. You'd have two of these with those darts, and again, we're going to pretend that I have the darts, and then those darts will have these all line up correctly. And you'll go stitch that together. What that gives you, when you turn it right sides out, is a dome here and a dome on the bottom. You basically can fill this full of a whole bunch of stuff. So your potato warmers, corn on the cob, all that kind of stuff. So you can do some really fun things with those too. Can you see the difference between this one and this one? Okay, so imagine doing it for whatever size you want. Okay, I think I've told you everything I wanted to tell you. Oh, I have one more bowl. I want to show you this one. I was looking for this earlier. And let's take a look. Valentine's Day. Do you see how cute this would be? This is what I wanted to show you earlier. Okay, so how do we make this fit? We're going to pinch here. We're going to pinch here. So whatever I do here, it's going to be the same here to here. And then here is not the same because this dips in. Can you see how I'm pinching more here, pinching less here? So we're going to do right side, left side first. Stitch that up. Give yourself a little bit of leeway because once you turn that, everything changes. We're just, adding that extra weight. And then you're going to come in, and I'd probably take a bigger stitch here and just a little tiny stitch here. You may even want to go down a size to trim that off. When you turn that, imagine how cute that would be to serve, even if it's ramen noodles for Valentine's Day. Okay, so I think that's it. I hope that's it. Oh no, I have one more thing. Those of you that have the old template that doesn't have the holes, these guys here and these guys here. Some of you saw Philip, my handyman, drilling holes. I still have some of the templates left that don't have these holes and these holes, so he's coming back to drill some more holes. You can get those from me. They are going to be drilled by him, so they may not be as pretty here. And then if you saw me, I carve out on the back the Get a Grip material there. If you buy the template from my website, you're going to have holes here and holes here, no matter what. Nobody's getting the old style template anymore if you buy the template. If you already own the template, then you don't have these holes. So Philip shows you how to drill. I show you, and then he's actually doing the drilling. So you can do your own holes. There's 9 holes. You decide if you want to drill it. I said in that video, hey, if you're not comfortable with the power tools and you don't have somebody around that'll do it for you, it's not like buying this template is going to break the bank. Yes, you're going to be buying another template, but you can give that other template away to somebody else. Or you've got a backup for your, Florida home, and when you're there in the wintertime and then you're back in Minnesota during the summer, you've got another template. So these are the new holes. Again, when you buy a template from me on my website, those of you that have bought it just recently, you've got the 9 new holes. I will not be selling templates without the 9 additional holes anymore. If you get it from somebody else, then watch that video so you can see how to do it. If you already have one of the templates that has just the dart holes, go watch that video and you can decide if you want to do the drilling yourself or if you want to pass that on to somebody else and then order a new one from me. I was going to be doing an upgrade. I don't know how I'm going to do it. The shipping is just not going to make sense. So it doesn't make sense for you to pay shipping and then for me to pay shipping to get one back to you. So I don't think I'm going to do the upgrade. If I see it at a trade show and you want to do an upgrade, I may do an upgrade price at a trade show. So, we can work that out if that's something you're interested in doing. Okay, so hopefully you've gotten some good information. Hopefully you have everything you need here on this video, so you don't need to go watch all my other videos that are there. I would encourage you to please like me on Facebook, go visit my Facebook, go enter my giveaways that I have. Usually it's a monthly giveaway. December, last year and the year before, I did a giveaway each week. I'm hoping to do that again this year. It's really kind of based on you guys, how much you all are telling other people about me, asking people to go look at my videos and sharing and doing all that social media stuff that you all are so good at and that I just don't have the time to do as much as I'd like to do. So spread the word, tell everybody about this. I'd love to be able to offer more giveaways, more freebies, come out with more templates, and that's just kind of based on you guys and how much you all are looking at what I'm doing and buying what I'm doing. So thank you for being here. Hope you got some great info. Share, let me know your feedback on this, and if there's anything that I've forgotten, I'll try to add it to the screen. And by the way, if you're watching this on your phone, any text that I put on the screen, I put a lot of text on the screen. It doesn't show up on your phone. So if you're not feeling like you're seeing everything that I might be talking about, or all the little details, go watch it on your computer, because on your computer you're going to see a whole lot of text. I add dimensions and the materials and all the stuff that you need, my website, my YouTube, my Facebook, all that stuff. So I think that's it. So I'm sure there'll be something that after I start putting it all together I've forgotten, I'll add it on the screen. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate y'all's support and for keeping me in business. Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, so I forgot some stuff. So we're merging this video, hopefully Dylan's got it. Okay, so we're gonna start over here. When you're making this stuff, make these as sets. So imagine we've done bigger plates, bigger bowls, smaller bowls, those kinds of things. And then add a coffee cozy. If you have my coffee cozy already, this is the coffee cozy template. It's fatter, which means when you go to hold it, all your fingers are protected. The ones they give you at Starbucks, the cardboard, it's about this thick. So this finger and this finger, they're on the cup, either hot or cold. This, with a ice cold drink, all this water is going to be kind of gathered in here. So watch my video and I'll show you how to do that. But I've done something different. These are headbands. these guys here, these are the elastics for your hair, and that's what I show you how to do in the other video, and you would end up stitching this inside, and you have to stitch a button on. If you're going to do a bunch of these headbands, these are from the Dollar Tree. This is how they come. There's 3 of them for $1. You'll cut off a piece, you'll stitch inside here and here, and then when you go to stitch the other side closed, you just tuck it in. It's kind of finagling at the sewing machine to be able to stitch that down, because it's a lot of, you know, tiny work that you need to do. But do you see how fast and easy that is? And that slides off and then it slides on. So it works on different size cups. So you can really imagine a bigger cup. So you're going to test it out on your cup still, but that doesn't mean, it means you don't have to do a button or any of those things to be able to do it. So you can do those really fast. So make sets, and you can sell those as sets. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, I said I was going to show you how to cut these if you don't have layer cakes. And if you just want to cut faster, easier for the 10-inch, the 10.5, the 12, the 12.5. So Martelli makes a 10-inch. Those of you guys that know layer cakes are 10 inches. That's how they come. But let's say you have fabrics of your own and you want to make the cutting time a whole lot faster. So the 10-inch comes like this, and it has a fussy cut frame. The fussy cut frame is great if you're doing a t-shirt. You can fussy cut, or if you're doing embroidery, or you've got whatever that you want to be perfectly centered or off center or whatever. Watch my video on fussy cutting, you'll see how to do it. This comes in a 10, they have a 10.5, they have a 12, they have a 12.5, they do whatever size you want. I don't know if you can see, that's a 10.5. That's the standard microwave bowl cozy size. So if you want to do this, I'll show you in a minute why this is so much more of a fast, easy thing to do, then get the 10.5. Here's a 12, there's a 12.5 inch as well, I just don't have it. Okay, so what we want to do, even if you buy layer cakes, is cut your batting. Because when you go to cut this piece of fabric here, imagine that I have one, let's grab one. When I go to put this template on, all I want to do is just cut around the edges here. That's all I need to do, but I have to cut all of this. So what we want to do is go ahead and cut our squares. So I've got 2 layers of batting here, and I don't recommend doing a whole lot more than that. I really do 4, but I don't recommend it because you end up getting them inconsistently. So what we're going to do is cut, turn with that getter grip, cut, turn with the getter grip, cut, turn with the getter grip. Don't have all this other stuff in the way like I do here. And then add your next 2 layers and do more and more and more. That's one cozy. That's what you need. Then if you don't have your layer cake fabrics already, then you can stack up your fabrics. Notice I'm working with a black fabric. It's too hard to see the template when you have black, the face up. So put wrong sides up rather than right sides up so I can see the edge of that template. Even without my glasses, I'd be able to pretty much get right along that edge. But do you see how I'm turning the template? And again, don't have all this other stuff in the way. So what I've done is I've cut, I think I had 6 layers there. Anyway, so I've got my layers of fabric. So I can take my cotton fabric and my cotton batting and line them up. When I've got them lined up, then I'm going to take that template, and now I place this on, and I'm looking at my edges. And I'm looking here, I'm looking here, I'm looking here. Can you see there's some batting there? That means I don't have batting here, so I want to have that centered a little bit more, and I'm looking over here. What this allows me to do is really shorten the time. So I'm going to cut around. And you can see here, this has, when it has that little bit of a crinkle there, we don't really need that, but you get the idea. So we're going to cut around. All we need to do when we have layer cakes is just cut those corners. Do you see how that is so much faster? So when I place this on the next, we do the dots. You wouldn't lift this up like I'm doing. Place this on, line those edges up, and make sure you have them lined up accurately. When you go to cut, you'd cut, cut, cut. Do I have that? Yeah. And we'd cut around. Oh, this was a sample to show if you don't use the layer cake, do you see how when you cut, it's not consistent? So make sure that you use the layer cake or that you're cutting consistently. So when you use that layer cake template, it allows you to cut fast, easy, perfect, beautiful, consistent. It better be good, it better be fast. So you can do layer cakes, you can buy those bigger ones, you can buy your fabrics, you go to your stash, use up all your stuff. Batiks, I want to talk about batiks for just a minute. I love batiks, but do not use batiks. Do not use any of the fabrics that have that metallic in there. All those things mean not cotton. So you don't want to use those in the microwave. Batik has a wax on there. Honestly, don't know the base of that, but I wouldn't do batiks in there. Flannels are great to use in the microwave. Flannels in the wintertime are a whole lot of fun, and at this time of the year, after the Christmas holiday, you can get the flannels really cheap too. So flannels are really great to do with the bowls, the plates, the cozies, all of those things. Okay, now I think I really am done. Again, if I forget anything else, I'll put it on the screen. Thanks again for being here. Hope you got some great information. Let me know what you think. Take care.